Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for entertainment purpose only. This is the part 2 of the first press conference that the police gave Chief Fry and the Idaho Moscow police service or team. Chief Fry clearly said it was a targeted incident, although he said we're looking further into the details. Now they're going to discuss about or ask questions about the surviving roommates and what they saw.
So, one last question, if I could, Chief. Have we looked at any boyfriends or any ex-boyfriends, any spouses as a potential suspect?
I will tell you, we are looking at everyone. Every tip we get, every lead we get, there's no one that we're not going to talk to. There's no one we're not going to interview. There's no one that we're not going to look into. And we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to make sure that nothing goes unturned and that we do everything we can with the assistance of all the resources we have to get a final answer.
Thanks, Chief.
So there were, I met Epperly with this book's interview. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home at that time, but we're not just focusing just on them. We're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
And then they didn't call it into police, so were they injured?
They were not injured, but like I said, we're still following up with everybody that could have been in that area.
And how can you say it's a targeted attack if you don't have a suspect?
Like I said, we take the totality of the situation. We try to make the best bit of information we can with everything that comes in, and then we make our decision off of that. So at this time, I'm not going to expand upon that. But like I've said, we do have a suspect out somewhere, and we are looking for that individual to solve this.
Hi, Rachel Sun, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I just want to clarify something you said earlier. Over the past couple of days, the information that we've been getting is there's not a threat to the public. Then earlier I heard you say you can't be sure that there is no threat. I just want to clarify what your stance is on that at this time.
So we still believe it's a targeted attack, but the reality is there's still a person out there who committed 4 horrible crimes. So I think we got to go back to there is a threat out there still, possibly. We don't know. We don't believe it's going to be to anybody else. But we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
This sounds strange. It's supposed to be a targeted attack, but the chief doesn't believe that there is any danger to the public. How could that be possible? There was a horrific quadruple murders that happened, so everyone should be on the guard. The chief should be clearly warning people and saying that we don't know yet who did it, because they did not know who did it until late November. Or is there something more they know that they're not sharing?
To anybody else, but we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
Okay, and then one other follow-up. I know you said when the call came in, it was for an unconscious person, and also that was a stabbing. It seems, just from an outside perspective looking in, like that would be not the first thing a person calling in would think.
You're right.
Exactly.
But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious, that we found the scene that we found.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked, so the other two roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
You would expect the chief and his team to know what happened, and especially about the witnesses, because they did take a statement of them. But the chief says that we didn't say that they were witness, but now we know that from the affidavit that they are witness. Dylan Mortensen is a witness. She saw a man with the bushy eyebrows. And she heard different noises. She heard Kaylee, something that sounded like Kaylee playing with a dog. Maybe Kaylee was defending herself from the killer, allegedly. And what interests me is, why is Bethany Funk, BF, is file sealed? Brian Koberger wanted to actually speak to Bethany Funk. I wonder why. Did Bethany Funk maybe come upstairs and witness something? Or did Dylan tell Bethany exactly what happened? Did Brian Koberger hear that somewhere? I wonder why Bethany Funk's file is sealed. Dylan's is not.
In the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
Were they one of the people, were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 caller is, just because I want to keep the integrity of the investigation at this point, okay?
Okay, and last question, are you able to tell whether the same weapon was used on all 4 victims?
That's why we're having the autopsies done. The autopsy will confirm that and hopefully collect some evidence for us, even from those. That's why you do the autopsies, is to try to be thorough and try to gather more. So we'll leave that would probably be something that would come out later.
Okay.
Excuse me, Derek Shook, Fox News Digital. Was there anything missing in the home, or were the purses still there? Any robbery attempt, anything like that?
Nothing that we have identified.
That was an excellent question. I've always thought of that. So if nothing was taken from the home, why is Brian Koberger being charged for 4 murders and a robbery? It doesn't add up. I can understand if he was charged for trespassing a property he had no right to get into. But robbery? Robbery is international. Robbery is when somebody comes and takes something of yours that doesn't belong to them.
With the Daily Evergreen, I was just wondering, were the 2 other individuals present at the home when police responded at noon?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those 2 people. Was it 2 people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So at as far as that goes, we're not going to go any further into what they know and what they don't know.
How many were there?
We believe 2.
Chief, have you looked into the social media accounts of all the different victims, and do you? We understand that one may have had an account linked to her Instagram account. Have you looked into those accounts? Have you seen any sort of threats made to any of the individuals?
So we are looking at all resources. You know, we got, like I said, the Federal Bureau of Investigation helping us. We got our detectives, our forensic detectives looking into that. We're trying to pull this whole picture. We're looking at everything that we can look at, social media, etc. So to answer your question, yes, we are.
Were the victims all found in one part of the house?
I'm not going to divulge that either. That's part of our investigation. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close this off. But if you have any questions for the university, we'll open that up at this point in time.
I guess the chief did not want to answer any of the tough questions, so he gave it over to President Green from the university. But that is the press conference. What I've understood from it is almost nothing, shall I be honest, because it's all the same repeat of things. All I wanted to find out is if it was a targeted incident, and it was. Who were the targets and who targeted the property is the question. I believe it was someone local. I personally believe it was one of the college students or more of them. There was a lot going on that night. The police was clearly asking for Eaton Chippin and Xana Conodal, may they rest in peace. Its timelines from 9:45 up to 1:45. So that is important. I wonder where Xana and Eaton were that night. We've heard of a fight in the Sigma Chi. Could it have possibly led to somebody coming and taking revenge? Was it Maddie and Kaylee? May they rest in peace. Could something have happened to them that night, or the night before, or the night before that? And the famous words of, what did he say to Adam? Kaylee asked. And Maddie said, I told him everything. And allegedly we have John Showalter saying, Maddie, you know they're coming to get you. What was that about? They brushed it off easily by saying later on in the case that, oh, we've spoken to Adam, there was nothing. Strange. I believe there was more to it than we could imagine. Strange. Whatever was said to Adam, 2 hours later, 4 victims were dead. Or unlived. Sorry. Please like, share and subscribe. Justice to the 4 victims. May the proper and correct justice be served.